Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Hey, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Hey, Shabbat, Shalom. Hey, Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam.
Good Shabbos, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome all. My name is Rabbi Jonathan Falco,
I'm Cantor Wally Shackett Briskin.
and we're all so happy that you're here joining us this evening on this Shabbos night. I invite all of you to take a moment now in the spirit of the Shabbos to take a look around, say hello, introduce yourself to some new faces or old faces or familiar faces, all different kind of faces, and to take a moment to make it your moment. Yes, please. Good Shabbos.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good, good.
Excellent.
Good Shabbos, everyone.
Good Shabbos.
I'm Fabian Burston, your temple president. Today is Shmos Shabbat, and it was so hot outside, I think we could probably let the marshmallows out on the sidewalk and they probably melt themselves, but we'll have something after and with our s'mores, and I know we have a good setup, and look forward to sharing s'mores with everybody. Yesterday we had our first meet and greet with Rabbi Falco with the sisterhood at Applebee's, and I understand that it was a really good event, so excited about that. Believe it or not, Rosh Hashanah is coming soon, already September 25th. The sisterhood is having a honey sale, and you can buy a jar of honey, either 8 ounces or a 1 pound jar. You can order the honey alone, or you can order with a set of honey, a pot server, and a pot and server. Be sure to get the orders early because I understand that they sell out real quick. The men's club had a softball practice yesterday in the brutal heat, getting ready for the Sunday softball game at 9 o'clock at Holiday Park off of Blenheim Street. If anyone is interested in playing or just cheering us on, please stop by. I understand that Rabbi Falco might stop by as well, so if you want to see him put a glove on or just cheer us on as well, that would be great. Save the date, August 28th at 11 o'clock is the Renaissance group is having a brunch at the temple. So please save the date and make sure you attend that event. Torah study is every Wednesday at 11 o'clock and Saturday at 9 o'clock. We have Minyan on Saturday at 10 o'clock, so those are opportunities to come to the temple and get involved. One other thing I wanted to mention is that Open Door is looking for drivers to deliver things to different areas. So if you are a driver, which I'm sure a lot of you have driver's license, hopefully you can help out. Shabbat Shalom, and thank you.
Good Shabbos. Oh, thank you. I also just want to make a note that we have some activities and games in the back of the social hall for any children who may feel so inclined to take part at any time in the service this evening.
Is it limited to children, or can anybody of any age go in the back and play the game?
I mean, I wouldn't blame anyone. It's also my pleasure to announce our offerings for our Shabbat service this evening. Temple offerings for July 22nd, this Shabbos, are in memory of Les Tinkler, Sheila Eskenazi, Mario Eskenazi, Corinne Batlin Altenhaus, Stephen Tachman. Temple offerings are also for the yard sites of Shirley Goldstein, Gary Brownstein, Julia R. Reyes, Maury Cohn, Esther Chaikin, Fanny Woolman, Trudy Comito, Pauline Schubert, Bernard Bernie Novick, Louis Rosenstock, Ralph A. Cohn, Ronald Schwartz, Lori Teich, Bruce Pankin, Oscar Popper, Bet Freeman, Judith Kaplan, Alan Goldberg, Howard Berkowitz, Amy Canner, Sylvia Solomon, Harry Metz, and Morris Horn. Temple offerings this week are also in honor of the engagement of Adam Aptaker to Caitlin Francesi, the birth of Max Alejandro Aaron, and the 20th anniversary of Rabbi Pankin at TSE. It's now my pleasure to invite Mark and Shelley Wilner to do our candles and Kaddish this evening.
You'll be able to find it, follow along
Page
in
3.
our prayer books on page 3 and also on the screens in front of you.
We have a light. Oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. Yes.
Open gate, the arc of evenings. Slowly turning, the sun's blue shadows washed away, the gate still open as 3 stars wait to pierce the sky. In the corridor where night bears its maze, you begin again. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'chiknir shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Blessed is the Eternal One, Sovereign of the universe, who sanctifies us with mitzvot and commands us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. Let us hallow the Sabbath day in
Remembrance of creation. As we bless the source of life, so are we blessed.
Stars reflect of heaven's hem as Shabbat enters quietly. Other over, away all week, Shabbat is the fruit of 6 days' imaginings.
Hushed and soft, with tender smile, Shabbat greets us as we raise our cups. Shabbat perches upon the rim and nods as we bless and praise and remember.
Come again to us, gracious host, fill our hearts with peace. Come sing with us, sweet singer. We will fill our mouths with praise.
Surround us with
Shabbat's beauty, all time in the day. Surround us with the faces of our dear ones, now and then and still to be.
Come again to us, gracious host. Come again as Shabbat is seated at our table. Come sing with us, sweet singer, as Shabbat fills our home with peace.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei bri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehillah l'mikrae kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon Inchaltanu Shabbos. It is really so good to see you all here on this Shabbos evening, this really hot Shabbos night. And it actually reminds me of when I was a child and I would go to shul every Friday night with my mom. And the hardest nights to go there were those really cold winter nights. We would kind of wish it was so cold today, but we just didn't want to get out of the house, you know? It was too cold, we just didn't want to go. But we always went because we started to notice an interesting phenomenon, and that was every time we went to shul, something good happened. Every single time we went, we just started noticing, like, we met someone new. We made a new connection, and eventually we started a tradition where on the ride home from shul, we would just share with each other what that good thing was. So as we go into our Shabbos evening tonight, I invite you to think of what that good thing is for you. And we'll continue with our service with Lecha Dodi on page 5.
Lecha Dodi Likat Kala Yala La Yala La Yala La Shabbat Kabela Lecha Dodi Likat Kala Yala La Yala La Yala La Shabbat Kabela Shamor V'Zachor V'Dibor Echad
Worship our Baruch Hu.
I have not seen the robin, but I know he is there because I heard him singing through my window from the treetop outside.
I have not seen God, but I have looked at my child's eyes and have been overwhelmed by the miracle of unfolding life.
I have watched the trees bedeck themselves with new garbs of green in the spring, and have been stirred by the miracle of continual birth.
I have looked at the stars and been overcome by the miracle of the grandeur and the majesty of the universe.
I know that God exists because I have heard the song of God's presence from all the treetops of creation.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha avta, Torah u'mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Hagen Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu, Uvkumenu nasiach b'chukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, U'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, Ve'orech yameinu, Uvahem nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malchuto, Leolam va'ed. Please be seated. We continue chanting together. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher Anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibartam abam b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafod b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha
ובשעריך, למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We continue reading together at the top of page 11. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children in the generations to come, the song of a land once ravaged by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Imagine that you are standing before the master of the universe, that everything you had ever thought, felt, seen, or heard all came from the source, that is the one before whom we stand. What would you say? how would you say it? I invite you to take that space for yourself this evening as we rise for the Amidah on page 12.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agit tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chazdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Gula Livnei V'Neihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayei hakol atah Rab lehoshia, morid hatal, mechalkel chaim bechesed, mechayei hakol berachamim rabim. So make noflim verofei cholim, umatir asurim, umkayem emunato lishenei afar. Micha mocha ba'al gevurot, umido melach, melech memit umchayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
You may be seated. We continue responsively at the bottom of page 14. For the blessings which you lavish upon us in forest and sea, in mountain and meadow, in rain and sun, we thank you. For the blessings you implant within us, joy and peace, meditation and laughter, we are grateful to you. For the blessings of friendship and love, of family and community, blessings we ask of you and those we cannot ask. For the blessings you bestow upon us openly and those you give in secret.
For all these blessings, O God of the universe, we thank you and are grateful
to you. For the blessings we recognize and those we fail to recognize. For the blessings of our tradition and of our holy days. For the blessings of return and forgiveness, of memory, of vision, and of hope. For all these blessings which surround us on every side, dear God, hear our thanks and accept our gratitude.
Shalom Rab al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rab al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rab tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. We pause for a moment to silent prayer. It's always a pleasure to help give someone their Hebrew name, especially when they're only about 3 weeks old. So we're ready to call forward Rebecca Leah Raff, her parents Edward and Ashley, her godparents Justin and Rushita Klein, and her grandparents on both sides. Right in front of the ark. Facing out. There she is. Hello. And here they come. Brucha haba'ah, b'shem Adonai, blessed are you who come in God's name. We rejoice, a child has come into this world, not only any child, but a child of people who grew up at Temple Sheri Emeth. We rejoice as we welcome this child into the Brit, the covenant between God and the Jewish people. Children are a heritage of God. The fruit of the womb is a precious reward. Our God and God of all generations, we thank you for many blessings, for the mystery of creation, for companionship and love, for the warmth of family, for the joy and sacred privilege of parenthood, for the bond of new life that links one generation to another, for the opportunity to bring family together to celebrate a most joyous moment in our lives. May all gathered here grow together as a family and as a community in health and in strength, in harmony and wisdom. May Ashley and Edward's home be filled with years of peace and contentment, love and understanding. May they teach their beautiful baby girl the ideals of performing acts of love and kindness. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hichnasam bivrit am Yisrael. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot and commands us to bring this child into the covenant of our people Israel. So who is this child being named for in their relationship? And there she is being named for Roberta Druckmann, the grandmother, and the qualities that we wish and hope for this wise-eyed child is to carry into their memory the love and devotion to family that Roberta had. Her incredible work ethic, because she commuted to Manhattan until retiring at 78 years old, and who never hesitated to help anyone in need. Our God and God of our mothers and fathers, sustain this child through their parents' loving care. Let this child be known among our people Israel by the name Rivka Leah Bat Chaya Devora V'Simcha Yehuda. She's going to need a big name tag. May her name be a source of joy to her and inspire her to serve our people and all humankind. May her parents rejoice in her growth of body and soul. As they have brought her into the covenant, so may Ashley and Edward, with wisdom and patience, lead her to a life filled with the study of Torah, to a loving relationship which culminates under the wedding canopy, and to a life of good deeds. And let us all say, Amen. And so we say the Shehechianu prayer whenever we reach a momentous occasion, such as this, a joyous time. We thank God for keeping us alive and sustaining us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who has given us life, who has sustained us, and brought us to this joyous time. And now I would like to bless you with this ancient blessing, the threefold benediction found in our Torah, as you wrap her in a talit, the symbol of our people surrounding themselves with mitzvot, to remember that we are partners with God in helping create a world of peace, peacefulness, loving kindness, and mitzvah doing. I'll do Hebrew, you do English, Hebrew, English, Hebrew, English. Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God be kind and gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom.
May the presence of God be with you, and may God grant you peace. Amen.
And right before we sing a Siman Tov and Mazel Tov, we have some lovely parting gifts for you, which are parting from the Bima tonight, but we hope that you'll be a part of us as well, always. There is a certificate good for a Parent and Me class through our Early Learning Center. There is a certificate for a membership in the PJ Library, so every month some music or a story will be sent to your home for Jewish bedtime rituals. And you have this beautiful child baby naming certificate that's been filled out and that will be filled out and will have all the the wonderful names and dates and all that that goes with it, as well as a souvenir T-shirt that says, "I was named a Temple Share AMF. May you grow in body and spirit so that you can fit into that." Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov. Yehelanu, 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 Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. All right, we go this way. Our minds now turn to those who are in need of healing. If you're thinking of anyone today who could use a refuah shlema, a complete healing of mind, of body, or of spirit, I invite you to share that name out loud at this time. Our community is also thinking of Daniel and Mindy Minerva, Stephen Rice, Jordan Silverman, Brian Roche, Ron Klug, Arlene Schwartz, Harriet Domro, Kate Ratner, Ron Labovitz, Alyssa Foreman, Lynn Norat, Mort Cohen, Mel Crystal, Linda Seal, Joel Borshoff, Brian Lynn, Jordan Horowitz, Jack Block, Grayson Shukowski, Spencer Gray Rothstein, Brody Scher, Fira Schwartz, Samuel Finkelstein, Alexander and Eugenia Litovskaya, Rachel Orenstein, Alan Jacobs, Debbie Pincus, Karen Martinez and John Allen, Susie Rake, Joyce Welkes, Harriet Marcus, Littman Bear Ben Shalom Vachaya, and Jared Naratsky. We take all of those names said out loud and wrap them with the ones said in our hearts as we recite the Misha Berach LaHolim, our prayer for healing. This Shabbos, in our Torah portion this week, in Pinchas, we meet the daughters of Tzalafachad, and they do something exceptionally courageous. We're at a time when Moses finished explaining to the people how to divide the land and how it should be inherited. That is to say, it's divided by tribe, and the one to inherit it is the son, the male son. Except among the daughters of Tzalafachad, they had no brother. That is to say, there was no male heir for which their plot to be given. And so that law was not fair. And so they went to Moses and they said, hey, Moses, we our father left no son, and it's not just for us not to have our portion by virtue of that fact. And so Moses basically says, oh, okay, hold on. He runs to God. God, what do I do about this? God says, what are you talking about? Of course they should inherit. They must inherit. They had the strength in themselves to stand up for themselves and do what is correct, despite how hard it is. Imagine going up to the lawmaker and saying, your laws are not fair. And they were right. So too is true for a boy named Natan. Long ago in Jerusalem, there lived a boy named Natan, a name that means he gave in Hebrew. Everything little Natan planted always burst into bloom. It was like he were magical. Trees would grow, bushes would emerge. Natan had a special talent, though, for growing the most gorgeous flowers. A talent that pleased the people of Jerusalem because they loved flowers, and it pleased them very greatly. Everywhere you walked in Jerusalem, the air was always fragrant. The king of Jerusalem at the time loved everything about Jerusalem. He loved the birds, he loved the animals, but what do you think he loved most of all? The flowers. The flowers. The king loved the flowers, so it wasn't surprising that the king tended his own garden. Now, he was an elderly king, and he knew that he needed to find someone to succeed him after he was gone, someone to take his place. Who will that person be, he wondered. More importantly, how do I choose such a person? But because the king loved flowers so much, he decided that he wouldn't choose his successor. He would let the flowers make the choice. The next day, the king issued a decree. All the children in the city of Jerusalem, along with their parents, were to come to the king's garden. And that's where he addressed them. I will give each of you a special flower seed. Now, it's Passover. Whoever can show me in a year's time from now that their flower has grown better than anyone else's, that child shall lead the kingdom after I am gone. So the king's announcement created a tremendous amount of excitement. All the children danced and fidgeted as while they were standing in line to get their seeds. And of course, the parents were equally excited. We all know it's going to be my kid. Natan, of course, also had heard the king's decree, and he lined up to get his seed. Of all the children in the kingdom, Natan was probably the happiest of them all at the moment because he thought he had a special ability. He thought he was magical, that everything he planted would blossom into a beautiful flower, just like it always does for him. So he took his seed home, planted it in a flower pot, filled it with rich soil. He attended to that pot. He watered the seed every day. He waited for it to grow and blossom into a beautiful flower. Well, days passed, but nothing grew in Natan's pot. He was starting to get worried. So once Passover was over, Natan put new soil, richer than the last, into his pot. Then, as the month of Elul approached, that is the month that precedes Rosh Hashanah, Natan transferred the seed to a pot containing even richer soil. He looked carefully day after day, hoping to see something, anything in the pot, but nothing grew. Nothing, not even a sprout. So eventually a whole year passed, and Passover came around again. It came time for the children of Jerusalem to show the king the results of his decree. Natan held his empty pot as he walked, in no hurry, to the king's garden. All the other children rushed right past him. They were wearing their best clothing, and in the pots they carried grew the most splendid flowers, of course. One of Natan's friends ran right past him, and his pot held a flower so huge it looked like a plant. So he says to him, he looks back, "You're not really going to go to the king with an empty pot like that, are you?" Natan replies, "I've grown lots of flowers better than yours, but my seed just wouldn't grow this time." Natan's father, who was accompanying him on this long trip to the garden, tried to comfort his son. So he puts his hand on his shoulders and he says, "You did your best, and your best has to be good enough to present to the king. Thanks, Dad. Natan and his father finally reached the king's garden. The king strode up and down the line of children. Each held out his or her pot as the king looked at each flower, inspecting one by one. Truly, each flower was more splendid than the next. There were pinks, yellows, greens, blues, and oranges. There was every color, splendid colors that matched up to each color of the rainbow. But strangely, the king didn't admire the flowers. In fact, as he walked past each one, he frowned. He didn't say a word. But finally, the king came to Natan, who was holding his head in shame. "Why did you bring me an empty pot?" the king asked him. And Natan began to cry. "I planted the seed you gave me, and I watered it every day, and it didn't sprout. I put it in a better pot with better soil, and still nothing. I tended it all year long, but nothing grew. So today, I bring you an empty pot without a flower. It is the best that I could do." Wow. The king heard those words, turned around and said, "Found him." The king then turned to all the other children and their parents, saying, "A child who tries his hardest and then brings his best, even when he fears his best is not good enough, is a child who is to be valued and admired and rewarded." So Natan became a great gift to himself and to Jerusalem, and he ruled the land after the king had passed away. Now, in the way of the daughters of Zelophehad, all 5 of them, we got Malka, Noah, Hogla, Milcah, and Tirzah, and Natan. May we too find the inner fortitude to do what is right and remain true to ourselves. Good Shabbos. We continue with the Aleinu at the bottom of page 16. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, lateit gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Please be seated.
Our minds now turn to those who are no longer with us. If you're remembering someone whose name is on our list, we invite you to rise as you hear their name read aloud, as together at the end we'll all join in rising together to recite Mourner's Kaddish. On this Friday, July 22nd, on this Shabbos, we begin with the memory of over 1,049,000 Americans who've succumbed to COVID-19. That's a total of over 6,392,500 in the world. We also remember those during this period of Shiva: Mario Eskenazi, father of Michael Eskenazi, Michelle Eskenazi Valerio, and Craig Eskenazi. Mario is the father-in-law of Sandra Eskenazi and Joao Valerio, grandfather of Shayna, Ilana, Michael, Emily, and Mariah, and great-grandfather of Addison, Xavier, and Elias. Also, Stephen Talkman, the brother of Michelle Pine, brother-in-law of Stephen Pine, and the uncle of Aaron, Howard, Greg, and Lewis. During this period of Shiloshim, we also remember Linda Seal, Les Tinkler, Sheila Eskenazi, Corrine Botlin Altenhouse, Bert Stillman, and Nathan Hindez. We're also remembering those whose yahrzeits fall on this Shabbat: Ira Adler, Lillian Anderman Russoff, Rose Berg, Samuel Burchad, Ava Blankenstein, Gertrude Bruckman, Rebecca Kaprov, Esther Chaikin, Mona Chetkin, Philip Chesler, Dorothy Hosick, Ruth Coben, Howard A. Cohn, Howard Davis, Susan Dratch, Becky Fine, Morris Feynman, Bet Freeman, Sophia Furrer, Arthur Gantz, Jason Garber, Freda Grossman, Morris Horn, Harriet Just, Amy Canner, Harvey Katz, Paul Kazan, Ethel Kirstein, Mel Kessler, Benjamin Kibrick, Terry Klein, Trudy Comito.
David Krause, Edward Lasky, Dr. Barry S. Marquit, Harry Metz, Bernard Novick, Bruce Pankin, Sylvia Pankin, Oscar Popper, Celia Rabinowitz, Harriet Raphael, Rose Ratowski, Louis Rosenstock, Sandra Ratowski, Samuel Salos, Annette Scher, Max K. Schlem, Pauline Schubert, Ronald Schwartz, Florence Shane, Nathan S. Shapiro, Sylvia Solomon, Lori Teich, Miriam Tepp, Florence Thurm, Morris Tubin, Jenny Weinstein, Natalie Weissman, Abraham Welkin, Fanny Woolman, Frank Zarrow, Walter Ziff. We also call to mind 6 unique individuals who perished in the Holocaust, the Shoah: Mitya Boltax, Binyamin Naiman, Bertold Iskevich, Beryl Temmer, Sarah Wassner, Moshe Wassner.
We take all those names, read out loud, and wrap them with the ones set in our hearts as together we rise as a community to recite Mourner's Kaddish on page 18. Yit Gadal, V'yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbam, Be'alma Divrach Hirutei, V'yamlich Malchutei, B'chayechon Uvyomechon, Uvchaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala Uvizman Kariv Imru. Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam U'olmei Almaya. Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yithaleh V'yithalal Shmei Dekudesha B'rihu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Da'amiran Be'alma V'imru. Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru. Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael
Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel V'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to those who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, as together we say.
Amen.
Oseh Shalom Bimromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'imru. Amen. Please be seated.
Well, I'd love to invite anyone who has any good news to share it with our congregation. Fabian, will you do us the honor? Please, here, I'll just unmute this for us.
I know some people are drooling for the s'mores, but you can share some good news before we get there. It's okay.
That's so weird. No?
Hello?
Oh,
There we go.
okay.
Hello?
There we go.
Our son Jay got engaged this past week and got a new job.
Oh, Mazel Tov.
Wonderful. Can you make something up? Oh.
We were blessed to have our grandchildren spend a week with us without their mother, but their dad was here, our son, and we thrived and we survived.
Well said.
You did your best.
Right.
Sam's very excited because we were on a list to get a White House tour, and we got an email today saying we're in. We're going to get a tour of the White House.
Nice.
That is so cool.
Nice.
That I'm at temple with my grandma.
Yay. We'll call you Good News Gabby.
Excellent. Awesome. We love good news. Thank you so much, Fabian.
So it's good to celebrate with a little bit of bread before dessert. So we'll uncover our challah. Please join us in Motzi.
Motzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our prayer is joyfully said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon.
And so to close, we will give the s'mores instructions. How is one to construct a s'more? First, you need the chorus. S'mores, s'mores. First, you eat a little bit, and then you want some more. That's why they're called s'mores. Sweet and gooey, crunchy and chewy. I love s'mores. First, you take a little bit of graham cracker, graham cracker. Split it up in the middle of the graham cracker. But wait, you're not done yet. S'mores, s'mores. First you eat a little bit and then you want some more. That's why they're called s'mores. Sweet and gooey, crunchy and chewy. I love s'mores. Next you take a little bit of marshmallow. Roast it up in a bonfire, but you're still not done yet. 2, 3, 4. S'mores. First you eat a little bit and then you want some more. That's why they're called s'mores. Sweet and gooey, crunchy and chewy. I love s'mores. Last but not least, you take a Hershey bar of chocolate. Yummy, yum. Put it between the cracker, marshmallow, and graham cracker, and then you get to eat it. Yum. Yay! S'mores. First you eat a little bit, and then you want some more. That's why they're called s'mores. Sweet and gooey, crunchy and chewy. I love s'mores. Terrific. That's how to make a s'mores.
And we'll conclude our service with the Priestly Benediction, page 20, the back of your pamphlet. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May you be blessed, may you be safe. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. May you be luminous, may you be loved. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you be joyous, may you be healthy, may you be whole. Good Shabbos.
Shabbat shalom, sweet and good.